Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatara Shatashishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatara Shatashishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gokshara Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Padadash Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Ṭhākura ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yang Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Kritam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedustang Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shrinvatang Svakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridantasto Yabhadrani Vedhunoti Suritsatam. Nashta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam. Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptastakama Ditaranga Madhe Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charana Ravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol, everybody. Gargaraj ji, Dandavat Pranams, Raseshwari Mataji, Madhavi Didi, Rukmini Didi, and Pradyumna Prabhu, Mantaramurti Mataji, and everybody else that's watching. Hari Bol. Sorry I'm a bit late today. Might end a little bit late also. I hope that's okay. All right, so yesterday, what did we read? Let me go here. Okay, so great sages like Narada and Vyasadeva, arrived there desiring to see Lord Krishna at Kurukshetra. Then Krishna glorified the purifying potency of great sages. The learned sages then glorified Krishna as a supreme person of Godhead, playing the part of an ideal human being by worshipping the Brahmanas. Vasudeva then had the sages perform some Vedic sacrifices and offered them charity. Nanda Maharaj remained at Kurukshetra for 3 months, being unable to leave his beloved sons. Finally, Krishna promised that he would come to Vrindavan soon, and bade farewell to Nanda, who too then departed for Vraj. The Yadavas also went to Dwarka. Okay. And the last few verses from the previous chapter. Let's see. Then, after Vasudeva, Ugrasen, Krishna, Uddhav, Balaram, and others had fulfilled Nanda Maharaj's desires and presented him with precious ornaments, fine linen, and varieties of priceless household furnishings, Nanda Maharaj accepted all these gifts and took his leave. Seen off by all the Yadus, he departed with his family members and the residents of Vraj. And this is an amazing commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Chakravartī Ṭhākura, just explaining how they were actually able to, how Krishna was able to convince Nanda Maharaj to go back to Vraj without him. And long purport, but really good. If you didn't see it yesterday, you should read this purport especially. It's so nice. Then, unable to withdraw their minds from Lord Govinda's lotus feet, where they had surrendered them, Nanda and all the cowherd men and women returned to Mathura. Their relatives having thus departed, and seeing that the rainy season was approaching, the Vrishnis, whose only lord was Krishna, went back to Dwarka. They told the people of the city about the festive sacrifices performed by Vasudeva, Lord of the Yadus, and about everything else that had happened during their pilgrimage, especially how they had met with all their loved ones. Now, Lord Krishna instructs Vasudeva and retrieves Devaki's sons. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ruvacha Atai kadatmajo prapto krita pada bhivandano Vasudevo bhinandyaha pritya sankarshanachuto. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam said, one day the 2 sons of Vasudeva, Sankarshan and Achyuta, came to pay him respects, bowing down at his feet. Vasudeva greeted them, and with great affection spoke to them. So Krishna and Balaram. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. Oh, and just one thing, I ended up spending the night in Mayapur last night because I was here till late, and so that's why the sound might not be as good as usual because I don't have my microphone here. Luckily, I have my laptop with me. So, okay. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. In this chapter, Krishna instructs his father Vasudeva on Gyan and brings back Devaki's 6 sons. Krishna and Balaram visit Bali's home and receive praises. Muninam savacha shrutva putrayor dhama suchakam tarviryar jata vishrambha paribhashyabhyabhashata. Having heard the great sage's words concerning the power of his 2 sons, and having seen their valorous deeds, Vasudeva became convinced of their divinity. Thus, addressing them by name, he spoke to them as follows. Hari Bol Sudevi Didi and Bhavatarini Mataji. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Sankarshana Sanatana Janevam Asyayat Shakshat Pradhana Purusho Paro. Vasudeva said, O Krishna, Krishna, best of yogis, O eternal Sankarshan, I know that you too are personally the source of universal creation and the ingredients of creation as well. Commentary. Vasudeva said, I know you too to be the supreme personalities of Godhead, who are superior to the Pradhan and Purush that cause this universe. Or, I know that you, Vasudeva and Sankarshan, are the two original Purushas of the universe who are producing the Pradhan. Yatra yena yato yasya yasyadyadhyatha yada syad idam bhagavan shakshat pradhana purusheshvara. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who manifest as the Lord of both nature and the Creator of nature, Mahavishnu. Everything that comes into existence, however, and wherever it does so, is created within you, by you, from you, for you, and in relation to you. Commentary. Vasudeva said, You are this universe as it is caused by you. This verse is in the singular, since the two brothers act as one. Wherever objects such as a pot or cloth exist, by whatever cause they exist, and from whatever they arise, whatever they belong to whomever such objects are given, in whatever manner they exist, and in whatever time they exist, the effect is you, O Lord, who are the predominator of the Pradhan and Purush, nature and its creator, Mahavishnu. Etanana vidam vishvam atmasrishtam adhokshaja atmananu pravishyatman prano jivo bibharsyaja. O Transcendental Lord, from yourself you created this entire variegated universe, and then you entered within it in your personal forms as a supersoul. In this way, O unborn Supreme Soul, as the life force and consciousness of everyone, you maintain the creation. Commentary. Vasudeva said, Moreover, you are the maintainer of this universe. By entering within the universe in your personal form as a supersoul, O Supreme Soul, you expand yourself into the subtle energy of action, the Kriya Shakti, which is the Sutra Tattva, our original vital air, Pran, and also into the creative energy, Buddhi Tattva, or Jnana Shakti, of consciousness. In other words, you maintain the universe in your form as the vital air, the intelligence, and the active and perceiving senses. This is quite a contrast to Nanda Baba, isn't it? Pranadinam vishwasrejam shaktayo ya parasyata paratantriad vasadrishyad dvayoshcheshtaiva cheshtatam. Whatever potencies the life air and other elements of universal creation exhibit are actually all personal energies of the Supreme Lord, for both life and matter are subordinate to Him and dependent on Him, and also different from another. Thus, everything active in the material world is set into motion by the Supreme Lord. Commentary. Krishna said, But it is well known that it is the Pran and Jiva who assume these various forms and maintain the universe, not me. Vasudeva responds to this in this verse. The word Adi is used in the phrase Pranadinam, because prana, the vital air of life, consists of many subcategories. The word Vishvasrajam indicates that not only are Pran and Jiva famous as the maintainers of the universe, but they are also famous as the creators. In reality, however, the potencies which belong to the prana and its expansions are all derived from the supremely subtle Paramatma. Thus, prana is dependent in the same way that as the piercing power of an arrow is derived from the strength of the bowman who shoots it, and not from the arrow itself. But, someone may argue, even if we grant that the principles of prana and jiva are subordinate to their own presiding deities, why must we necessarily conclude that they are subordinate to a supreme lord, the supersoul? Vasudeva answers with the words Vaisadrishyat. Certainly, Nishchitam, certainly they are similar because each of these material elements are just like the particular demigods who rule over them. In the same way as the active and perceiving senses, designated respectively by the terms prana and jiva, are non-living matter, so the demigods who regulate them are also material, because their bodies and minds are material. Therefore, since the personality of Godhead is purely spiritual, whereas the deities presiding over these various elements are all material, and since we can clearly see that non-living things must be subordinate to a living force, we conclude that these potencies must all belong to the Supreme Lord. Such is the proper logical sequence of the statement. Kantisteja prabhasatta chandragnyarkarshavidyutam yatstairyam bhubhritam bhumir vrittir gandhortato bhavan. The glow of the moon, the brilliance of fire, the radiance of the sun, the twinkling of stars, the flash of lightning, the eminence of mountains, and the aroma and sustaining power of the earth, all these are actually you. Commentary. In this verse, Vasudeva cites the Shruti and Smriti to show that whatever potencies belong to any sort of existing entity actually belong to Krishna. The word kantis means that Krishna is the essence of the attractive radiance of the moon, stars, and lightning. It also applies to the sun and fire during the cold season and to the sun at sunset. Teja is the quality of being impossible to touch, which belongs to all of them. Prabha means the ability to reveal itself at a great distance, and the quality of Satta belongs to the moon, sun, stars, and lightning. All of these items have Prabha and Satta, particular existence. Factually, these are all you. The Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6, for example, states, Na tatra suryo bhatina chandratarakam nema vidyutto bhantikutto yamagni tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. In the spiritual world, the sun does not shine, nor does the moon. In the spiritual world, the sun does not shine, nor does the moon, the stars, or lightning, as we know them. What to speak of ordinary fire? It is by the reflection of the spiritual sky's effulgence that everything else gives light, and thus, through its radiance, the entire universe becomes luminous. And in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 15.12, Sri Krishna says, Yadagatam tejo jagarbhasayate khilam yachchandramasi yachchagnotat tejo vidhi mamakam. Know that the splendorous light of the sun, the moon, and fire, which dissipate the darkness, come from me. So Vasudeva said, whatever steadiness is in the mountain, and the power of the earth to sustain the living entities and to produce pleasant aromas, are your energy. The word yat, which, applies to each of the entities being exemplified with the appropriate adjustment of gender. Tarpanam prananam apam devatvam tashchatarasa ojasaho balam cheshta gatir vayostaveshvara. My Lord, You are water, and also its taste and its capacities to quench thirst and sustain life. You exhibit your potencies through the manifestations of the air as bodily warmth, vitality, mental power, physical strength, endeavor, and movement. Commentary. What is the need to elaborate extensively? You alone are all the objects and their essential qualities. Vasudeva explains this in 4 verses. Furthermore, O Lord, the capacity of water to generate satisfaction, possess taste, and act as the base of life are all you alone. The oja, the bodily warmth and vitality, saho, mental strength, balam, physical strength, cheshta, endeavor, and gatir, movement. So all those qualities of the air element are all your energies. Desham tvam avakashosi, deshakam sporta ashraya, nado varnastamum kara, akriti nam pritakriti. You are the directions and their accommodating capacity, the all-pervading ether and the elemental sounds residing within it. You are the primeval, unmanifested form of sound, the first syllable, om, and audible speech by which sound, as words, acquires particular references. Commentary. Vasudeva said, You are the directions and the space created by the conditioning of ether. You are ether and the pure quality of sound in its primeval stage known as para in the ether. You are the pure quality of sound, spota. There's a whole amazing article called Spotavad, which is going to be published soon. The pasyanti, one second. The pasyanti, unmanifest vibration, and the madhyama, the first syllable omkar, these 2 stages of sound are you. You are also the final stage of audible sound or speech called vaikari, which consists of syllables and words denoting particular objects, akritinam. The Rig Veda 1:164-45 says, Chatvari vakparimita padani tani, Chatvari vakparimita padani tani vidhur brahmana ye manishina. Guhayam trinihitani nengayanti turiyam vacho manusha vadanti. Wise Brahmins know 4 stages of sound. 3 of these remain hidden in the heart as imperceptible vibrations, while the 4th is what people ordinarily understand as speech. Wow. Indriyam tvindriyanam tvam devaschatar anugraha avabodho bhavan buddher jivasyanusmriti sati. You are the power of the senses to reveal their objects, the senses presiding demigods, and the sanction these demigods give for sensory activity. You are the capacity of the intelligence for decision-making, and the living being's ability to remember things accurately. Commentary. Vasudeva said, You are the power of the senses to reveal objects, as well as the presiding demigods of the senses, who by their mercy and their power of rule sanction the working of one's senses. You are the power of decision and the power of recollection, whereby one recognizes himself as an eternal spirit soul. Bhutanam asi bhutadir indriyanam chataijasa vaikariko vikalpanam pradhanam anushayinam. You are false ego in the mode of ignorance, which is the source of the physical elements, false ego in the mode of passion, which is the source of the bodily senses, false ego in the mode of goodness, which is the source of the demigods, and the unmanifest total material energy, which underlies everything. Commentary. Vasudeva said, You are the tamasic ahankar, the false ego and the mode of ignorance, which causes the 5 physical elements. You are the rajasic ahankar, the false ego and the mode of passion, which causes the senses. You're the rajasic ahankar, false ego and the mode of passion, which causes the senses, and also the sattvika ahankar, the false ego and the mode of goodness, which produces the creative demigods. As the pradhan, the unmanifest total material energy, you are the underlying cause of the living entity's material existence. Nashvareshviha bhaveshu tarasi tvam anashvaram yatha dravya vikareshu dravya matram nirupitam. You are the one indestructible entity among all the destructible things of this world, like the underlying substance that is seen to remain unchanged while the things made from it undergo transformations. Commentary. Vasudeva said, "What is more, you are the one indestructible entity who remains permanently among the fallible entities in this world. This resembles the transformation of substances like clay or gold into pots and earrings, which are subject to destruction. Nevertheless, the basic substances, namely the clay and gold, remain without being destroyed. Thus, the pradhan is indestructible." Sattvam rajastama iti gunastad vrittayashchaya tvayadha brahmani pare kalpita yogamayaya. The modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, together with all their functions, become directly manifest within you, the supreme absolute truth, by the arrangement of your yoga maya. Commentary. Krishna interjects, "If I am pradhan, the cause of this universe, how is it then that I will not be subject to change just as the pradhan transforms into objects of this world?" Vasudeva refutes this in 2 verses, saying, "The 3 gunas, which are also called pradhan, and which undergo transformations such as mahat-tattva, have been produced by yoga maya, the inconceivable spiritual energy within you, who are transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature. The 3 modes of nature are not actually within you, for they have been produced under your glance. Tasmana santami bhava yarhi tvai vikalpita tam chamishu vikareshu hyanyadavyavaharika." Thus these created entities, transformations of material nature, do not exist except when material nature manifests them within you, at which time you also manifest within them. But aside from such periods of creation, you stand alone as the transcendental reality. Commentary. Vasudeva said, "Therefore, at the time of final dissolution, these entities which are arranged by Yoga Maya, who embodies your desires, are separated from your glance by her, and then they no longer exist within you. You are never within these objects in any material sense, but you mercifully pervade them as the impersonal Brahman, and you manifest yourself as your expansions of the supersoul, so that they can perform their mundane activity." As it is said in Bhagavad Gita, verses 4-5. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagar avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani na chaham teshvavastita na cha matstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishvaryam bhutta bhrenna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavana. By me, in my manifest form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. So, therefore, you do not exist. Therefore, you do not exist there in your swarup, as the pradhan is made of the three modes of nature. Therefore, for you, there are no material transformations. Haribo, Achutapriya Tidi. How many verses are in this chapter? 59. Okay, we might not make it to the end of this chapter. Guna pravaha etasmin abudasta kilatmana gatim shukshmam abodhena sangsarantiha karmabhi. They are truly ignorant who, while imprisoned within the ceaseless flow of this world's material qualities, fail to know you, the Supreme Soul of all that be, as their ultimate sublime destination. Because of their ignorance, the entanglement of material work forces such souls to wander in the cycle of birth and death. Commentary. Vasudeva said, therefore, in this flow of the three modes of material life, those who are ignorant of the subtle goal characterized by liberation described above by you, the Supreme Soul of all, take birth repeatedly in this world, impelled by their material activities. Yadrichaya nritam prapya sukalpam iha durlabam svarte pramattasya vayo gatang tvam maya yeshvara. By good fortune, a soul may obtain a healthy human life, an opportunity rarely achieved. But if he is nonetheless deluded about what is best for him, O Lord, your illusory Maya will cause him to waste his entire life. Commentary. Vasudeva laments for those in the human form of life who, though having the possibility to gain such knowledge by devotion to Krishna, do not attain it. After receiving the rare human form of life with acute senses, if a person madly pursues sense pleasure due to your Maya, then his life is wasted. Asavaham maite dehe chasyan vayadishu sneha pashar nibadnati bhavan sarvam idam jagat. You keep this whole world bound up by the ropes of affection, and thus when people consider their material bodies, they think, this is me. And when they consider their progeny and other relations, they think, these are mine. Yuvam nana suto shakshat pradhana purusheshvaro bhubharak shatrakshapanna avatirno tatataha. You are not our sons, but the very lords of both material nature and its creator, Mahavishnu. As you yourself have told us, you have descended to rid the earth of the rulers who are a heavy burden upon her. Commentary. Vasudeva said, my wife and I are excellent examples of those who are materially deluded due to our egotistic and possessive attachment for our bodies, sons, and families. Although you too are not our sons, still we are attached to thinking that you are our sons, despite the fact that you told us at your birth that you have descended to remove the burden of demoniac kings from the earth. Atte gatosma aranam adyapadāravindam apāna sangsriti bhayapahamartha bandho etavatālamalαμindriyalasena martyatmadrik tvai pare yarapatya buddhi. Therefore, O friend of the distressed, I now approach your lotus feet for shelter, the same lotus feet that dispel all fear of worldly existence for those who have surrendered to them. Enough! Enough with the hankering for sense enjoyment, which makes me identify with this mortal body and think of you, the Supreme, as my child. This is like the exact opposite of the mood of Nanda Maharaj. Commentary. But, Krishna might object, go ahead and enjoy sense pleasures. What is the question of your being materially entangled? Vasudeva replied, now I take shelter of your lotus feet. By so much sense gratification, I think that my body is myself, and that you, the Supreme Lord, are my child. Indeed, due to ignorance, I am really entangled in material existence. Suti grihe nanu jagada bhavana jono sanjagya ityanu yugam nijadharma guptai nana tanur gaganavar vidadhaj jahasi ko veda bhumna urugaya vibhuti mayam. Indeed, while still in the maternity room, you told us that you, the unborn Lord, had already been born several times as our son in previous ages. After manifesting each of these transcendental bodies to protect your own principles of religion, you then made them unmanifest, thus appearing and disappearing like a cloud. O supremely glorified, all-pervading Lord, who can understand the mystic deluding potency of your opulent expansions? Commentary. Krishna said, since I am the Supreme Lord and I became your son, how can you be entangled in material existence? Vasudeva replied, in the maternity room, you told us, I have appeared from both of you age after age, as Sutapa and Prishni, Kashyapa and Aditi, and now as Vasudeva and Devaki. Creating all those bodies for us, you became our son, but being unattached like the sky, you gave us up. You do not stop being born. Therefore, who can understand the inconceivable powers of the Supreme Lord? Shri Shuka Uvacha Akarnyetam Pitur Vakyam Bhagavan Sattvatarshava Pratyaha Prashayanamra Prahasan Shlakshnaya Gira. Shukadev Goswami said, having heard his father's words, the Supreme Lord, leader of the Sattvatas, replied in a gentle voice as he bowed his head in humility and smiled. Commentary. By gently bending his head and smiling, Krishna indicated that there will be no overlapping of devotional mellows in your words directed to us two sons who worship you. I will wisely give those words another meaning. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vacho va samavetartam tattaitar upaman mahe yanna putran samudishya tattvagrama udahrita. So let's see how Krishna is going to give his words another meaning. The Supreme Lord said, my dear father, I consider your statements appropriate, since you have explained the various categories of existence by referring to us, your sons. Commentary. Krishna said, I consider your words highly consistent, for you are pointing out your son as the highest truth just to teach others. This is in accordance with the Chandogya Upanishad, which says, Tattvam asi Shvetaketo. You are that, O Shvetaketu. Aham yam asavarya ime cha dvarakausha sarve pyevam yadu shreshta vimirigya sa characharam. Not only I, but also you, along with my respected brother and these residents of Dwarka, should all be considered in the same philosophical light, O best of the Yadus. Indeed, we should include all that exists, both moving and non-moving. Commentary. Krishna said, one should only consider one's son such as me to be one should only consider one's son such as me to be Paramatma. You should see everyone as such. Everyone should be considered by his quality as the Paramatma. An alternate version of this verse substitutes the word drastavya for vimrigya. Having received your teachings, we should see everywhere in persons such as Pradumna, the Paramatma. Ahyeka swayam jyotir nityonyo nirguno gunai atma srishtaistakriteshu bhuteshu bahudeyate. The Supreme Spirit, Paramatma, is indeed one. He is self-luminous and eternal, transcendental and devoid of material qualities. But through the agency of the very modes he has created, the one Supreme Truth manifests as many among the expansions of those modes. But through the agency of the very modes he has created, the one Supreme Truth manifests as many among the expansions of those modes. Okay. Kang vayur jyotirapo bhus tatkriteshu yatashayam avistirolpa bhuryeko nanatvam yatyasavapi. The elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth become visible, invisible, minute, or extensive as they manifest in various objects. Similarly, the Paramatma, though one, appears to become many. Commentary. Verse 24-25 can be understood as follows. Krishna said, the one Paramatma appears to be many by the influence of the modes of nature that he himself creates. How is that? Though the soul is self-luminating, he appears as an object of vision. Though he is eternal, he appears temporary. Though he is transcendent to matter, he joins with it. Though he is without material qualities, he appears as covered by the modes. Just as the five elements like ether, when manifesting in forms like a pot, have a beginning and end in that limited condition, so similarly, the one Paramatma assumes the statuses of manifestation and non-manifestation, although he is in the same changeless status. Similarly, although the Paramatma is all-pervading, he assumes the relative statuses of smallness and greatness, and although he is one, he becomes many. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Bhagavata Rajan Vasudeva Udahrita Shrutva Vinashtananadhis Tushnim Prita Mana Abhut. Shukadev goes, O king, hearing these instructions spoken to him by the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva became freed from all ideas of duality. Satisfied at heart, he remains silent. Commentary. The phrase Vinashta Nanadhis, his dualistic mentality destroyed, means that Vasudeva thought, yes, the entire universe is one Brahman. So in that way, my two sons are also the Supreme Absolute Truth. Upon realizing this, Vasudeva fell silent. Ata tatra kurushreshta devaki sarvadevata Shrutva nitam guru putram atmajabhyam suvismita Krishna ramo samashravya putram kansa vihingshitam Smaranti kripanam praha vaiklavyad ashrulochana. At that time, O best of the Kurus, the universally worshipped Devaki took the opportunity to address her two sons, Krishna and Balaram. Previously, she had heard with astonishment that they had brought their spiritual master's son back from. Now, thinking of her own sons who had been murdered by Kamsa, she felt great sorrow, and thus, with tear-filled eyes, she beseeched Krishna and Balaram. Shri Devaki Uvacha Rama Rama Prameyatman Krishna Yogeshwareshwara Vedaham Vam Vishwam Srijam Ishvarav Adipurusho. Shri Devaki said, O Ram, immeasurable Supreme Soul, O Krishna, Lord of all masters of yoga, I know that you are the ultimate rulers of all universal creators, the primeval personalities of Godhead. Kala vidvasta sattvanam ragyam uchastravartinam bhumir bharayamananam avatirno kiladyame. Taking birth from me, you have now descended to this world in order to kill those kings whose good qualities have been destroyed by the present age, and who thus defy the authority of revealed scriptures and burden the earth. Commentary. Devaki said, You too appeared in my womb for killing the kings whose good qualities had been destroyed by the influence of the age. Yasyang shang shang. Oh my god, whoa, that's a difficult one. Yasyang shang shang bhagena vishvotpatti layodaya bhavanti kila vishvatmangs tam tvadyaham gatim gata. Angsha. O soul of all that be, the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe are all carried out by a fraction of an expansion of your expansion. Today I come to take shelter of you, the Supreme Lord. Commentary. Devaki said, Today I take shelter of you, whose portion is the great Lord of Vaikuntha, the portion of whom is the Mahapurush, Mahavishnu, the portion of whom is the total material nature, Prakriti, which is divided into the three divisions of Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Chiran mrita sutadane guruna kila chodito aninyatu pitristanar gurave gurudakshinam tata me kurutam kamam pam yogeshwareshwaro bhoja raja hatam putran kamaye drashtumar ahritan. It is said that when your spiritual master ordered you to retrieve his long-dead son, you brought him back from the forefathers' abode as a token of remuneration for your Guru's mercy. Please fulfill my desire in the same way, O Supreme Masters of all Yoga Masters. Please bring back my sons who were killed by the king of Bhoja, so that I may see them once again. Commentary. Devaki said, As a form of Guru Dakshina, a token of thanks for Guru's grace, you brought back the sons of Sandipani Muni from the abode of Yamaraj. Oh, that was an incomplete sentence. Oh no, it is an incomplete. As a form of Guru Dakshina, you brought back the sons of Sandipani Muni from Yamaraj. Rishir Uvacha Evam sanchodito matra Ramakrishna's Bharata Sutalam samvivishatur yogamayam upashito. The sage Shukadev said, Thus entreated by their mother, O Bharata, Balaram and Krishna employed their mystic yogamaya potency and entered the region of Sutala. Tasmin pravishtav upalabhya daityarad Viśvatma-daivam sutaram tatatmana Taddarshanahlada Pariplutashaya Sadhya Samutthaya Nanama Sanvaya. When the king of the Daitas, Bali Maharaj, noticed the arrival of the two lords, his heart overflowed with joy, since he knew them to be the supreme soul and worshipable deity of the entire universe, and especially of himself. He immediately stood up and then bowed down to offer respects, along with his entire entourage. Commentary. Seeing the entrance of Krishna and Balaram, who are the Supreme Soul and also the worshipable deity of the universe, Bali Maharaj, the king of demons, offered respects. Viśvanātha Daivam is in the singular form to express that Krishna and Balaram are one in the sense of their both being the Supreme Lord. Tayo samaniya varasanam muda nivishtayoστatra mahatmanostayo tadharapadav avanijata jalam savrinda abrahma punad yadambuha. Bali took pleasure in offering them elevated seats. After they sat down, he washed the feet of the two supreme personalities. Then he took that water which purifies the whole world even up to Lord Brahma and poured it upon himself and his followers. Commentary. Bali poured the Charanamrita from Krishna and Balaram, which purifies the whole world up to Brahmaloka on his head and on the heads of his followers. Samarhayam asa sato vibhutibir maharhavastra bharana nulepanai tambo labdi pamrita bhakshanadibi swagotra vitatma samarpanena cha. He worshipped them with all the riches at his disposal, priceless clothing, ornaments, fragrant sandalwood paste, betel nut, lamps, sumptuous food, and so on. Thus he offered them all his family's wealth, and also his own self. Sa indraseno bhagavat padam bhujan bibhran moho prema vibhinaya dhiya uvachahananda jalakulekshana prahrishta man nripagad gadaksharam. Taking hold of the Lord's lotus feet again and again, Bali, the conqueror of Indra's army, spoke from his heart, which was melting out of his intense love. O king, as tears of ecstasy filled his eyes and the hair on his limbs stood on end, he began to speak with faltering words. Commentary. Bali, Indrasena, Bali then spoke in a choked voice. Balir uvacha Namo nantaya brihate Nama krishnaya vedhase Sankhya yoga vitanaya Brahmane paramatmane. King Bali said, obeisances to the unlimited Lord Ananta, the greatest of all beings, and obeisances to Lord Krishna, the creator of us, who appears as the impersonal absolute and the supersoul in order to disseminate the principles of Sankhya and Yoga. Commentary. Obeisances to Ananta, Namo Nanta Brihate. So this refers to the supreme Ananta, Balaram, from whom expands the divine serpent, Ananta Shesh. Vedase refers to Krishna, the creator and original cause of everything. Impersonal Brahman is the source of the Jnana Shastras, the text on the Sankhya philosophers, the text of the Sankhya philosophers, while the Paramatma disseminates the Yoga Shastras, the textbooks of yoga. Darsham hi bhutanam dushprapyam chapya durlabam rajastama swabhavanam yanna prapto yadrichaya. Seeing you lords is a rare achievement for most living beings. But even persons like us, situated in the modes of passion and ignorance, can easily see you when you reveal yourself by your own sweet will. Commentary. Bali said, although it is difficult for living beings in general to attain your although it is difficult for living beings in general to attain, your darshan is easily obtained even for demons situated in the modes of passion and ignorance because of your own sweet will. Daitya Danava Gandharva Siddha Vidyadracharana Yaksha Raksha Pishachascha Bhuta Pramatanayaka Vishuddha Sattva Damnadha Tvai Shastra Sharirini Nityam Nibaddha Vairaste Vayam Chanye Chadadrisha Kechanorbadhavaya Bhaktya Kechana Kamata Natata Satta Samrabdha Sanikrishta Suradaya. Many who had been constantly absorbed in enmity toward you ultimately became attracted to you who are the direct embodiment of transcendental goodness and whose divine form comprises the revealed scriptures. These reformed enemies include Daitas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishachas, Bhutas, Pramatas, and Nayakas, and also ourselves and many others like us. Some of us have become attracted to you because of exceptional hatred, while others have become attracted to you because of their mood of devotion based on lust. But the demigods and others infatuated by material goodness feel no such attraction for you. Commentary. How amazing it is! Even though we have the natures of Rajas and Tamas, we have become more fortunate than the demigods in Sattva Gun. Bali expresses this in 3 verses. I think I'd really like it in Sutala. You can be in the mode of passion and ignorance, but you have more devotion than the demigods. Bali Maharaj said, the demigods endowed with goodness have not attained such attraction to you, who are the eternal embodiment of transcendental knowledge and bliss, and whose body comprises the revealed scriptures about devotion. The phrase Shastra Sharirini is in accordance with the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 6.16.33. Sattvata Shastra Vigraham, who is the personified form of the holy scriptures on devotional. Krishna replied, but Bali, you are one of my greatest devotees. Bali, no, we and our sons, such as Bana, who are well known as descendants of Hiranyakashipu, are on the side of the Daityas, your eternal sworn enemies. There are also other extremely envious persons, such as the Danavas and Rakshasas, and the Gandharvas, who are your Sakama Bhaktas, devotees filled with material desires. Bali's ascribing demoniac qualities to himself is a characteristic of the most elevated devotion. The word Sanikrishta, attracted, implies, by your mercy, you always give us your darshan by remaining as our doorkeeper on Sutala Loka. To others, you grant your darshan by killing and liberating them. And to the Gandharvas, you give your darshan by allowing them to sing your glories in order to please you and your devotees. To the lusty demigods, however, you give sense gratification, which makes them forget you, and thus they fail to become attracted to you. I love how Bali Maharaj is dissing the demigods. Idam iti prayas tava yogeshvareshvara na vidantyapi yogesha yogamayam kuto vayam. What to speak of ourselves, O Lord of all perfect yogis? Even the greatest mystics do not know what your spiritual power of delusion is, or how it acts. Commentary. Krishna said, well, why do I do that? Krishna said, well, why do I do that? It seems very astonishing that those in the modes of passion and ignorance are more attracted than those in the mode of goodness. Bali answers this by stating, no one knows the truth about you. Even the masters of yoga do not understand the essential identity of your yoga maya, its attributes or actions. What to speak of us? Tanna prasedan nirapeksha vimregya yushmat padaravinda dishananya grihanda kupat nishkramya vishva sharanang krupalabda vritti shanto yataika utasarva sakaisharami. Please be merciful to me, so that I may get out of the blind well of family life, my false home, and that I may find the true shelter of your lotus feet, which selfless sages always seek. Then, either alone or in the company of great saints who are the friends of everyone, I may wander freely, finding life's necessities at the feet of the universally charitable trees. Commentary. I probably should end with this verse, right? In response to Bali's prayers, Sri Krishna said, "Oh, my dear one, please ask for a benediction." Bali Maharaj replied, "May I get free from my home, which is a blind well apart from the shelter of your lotus feet, which are searched for even by the self-satisfied sages. May I wander about, being peaceful and satisfied, living off the fruits obtained from the universally charitable trees. And if you are more merciful, then allow me to wander along with your devotees, who are the friends of everyone." Sarva Sakais. Okay, this last prayer of Bali Maharaj. So maybe we can end with this. Shadyasman ishita vyesha nishpapan kuruna prabho poman yachradaya tishtangs chodanaya vimuchyate. O Lord of all subordinate creatures, please tell us what to do and thus free us of all sin. One who faithfully executes your command, O Master, is no longer obliged to follow the ordinary Vedic rites. Commentary. Bali Maharaj said, O Lord of all the jivas who are subjects to being controlled, now please tell me, why have you appeared before me like this? O Master, please give your order. Krishna replied, but what is your qualification for carrying out my order? Bali replied, please make me sinless, though I am incapable of doing so myself. I will become purified just by hearing that order. By executing your order, one becomes freed from all the injunctions and prohibitions of the scriptures. In other words, he is no longer a servant of rules and regulations. Alright, so we will hear how Krishna responded tomorrow. Yikes. That next verse is really wow. Bali Maharaj was was throwing shade at the demigods, and now Krishna is himself. Okay. But we'll read that all tomorrow. Thanks for letting me go overtime, guys. I'll try not to do that tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorkisharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Gaudiya Guru Varga ki Jai. Srila Baladev Vijabhushan Prabhu ki Jai. Srila Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura ki Jai. Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Pad ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Prasad Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय. श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय. श्रील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय. Sārārtha-darśinī वृत्ति की जय. श्री निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाचार्य कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Alright, everybody, thank you so much for reading with me. I really liked those prayers of Pali Maharaj. So, yeah, we'll finish this chapter tomorrow, and then we'll read the next chapter. What's the next chapter? Let me just look really quickly. The next chapter is, tomorrow we'll read about how Arjuna kidnaps Subhadra and Krishna blesses his devotees. And then the day after that will be my Param Gurudev. No, the day after that will be my Param Gurudev's 125th appearance day. That's on 8th February. Today's 6th February. So yeah. So then we'll read about my Param Gurudev. And yeah, that's our program for the next 3 days. Alright, Hari Bol everybody. Hari Bol Chitta Priya Didi.